Welcome back to High Stakes, where we help you elevate your betting strategy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our daily content. Looking for exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join us on Patreon. Links are available in the comments section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. Get ready, football fans, because the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns are squaring off against the TCU Horned Frogs in the illustrious New Mexico Bowl. Set at the hallowed grounds of University Stadium on December 28th at the prime-time slot of 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Because of course it's airing on ESPN, this matchup promises, well, something resembling excitement if you squint hard enough. The Ragin Cajuns, 10-3, roll into this game still licking their wounds after an utterly inspiring 31-3 drubbing at the hands of Marshall in the Sun Belt Championship. Nothing says bowl ready quite like a 3-touchdown beatdown to close out your regular season, right? Meanwhile, the Horned Frogs, 8-4, are strutting in on a 3-game winning streak, having edged out Cincinnati 20-13 in their finale, a game that definitely had fans on the edge of their seats, for all the wrong reasons. But hey, these are the storylines that make the New Mexico Bowl so special. Two teams, one bouncing back from humiliation, the other clinging to momentum built on a shaky offense, meeting in a stadium most viewers couldn't pinpoint on a map. As always, we know the teams, you know the stakes, or lack thereof. So let's break down who deserves your hard-earned faith in this Louisiana versus TCU showdown. Spoiler alert, nobody's leaving this game with a CFB trophy, but someone's walking out with a free bowl gift bag. The Louisiana Ragin Cajuns are really bouncing back after that devastating conference championship loss. They're clearly ready to forget all about that embarrassing 31-3 defeat to Marshall and march on with their solid performance this season. And hey, they might even have quarterback Ben Wooldridge back in action after his little injury scare. Wooldridge, in case you've forgotten, has been completing a dazzling 68.3% of his passes for 2,392 yards and 17 touchdowns. Oh, and let's not forget his 61 carries for 192 yards. What a dual threat. As a team, they're averaging a very respectable 431.6 total yards per game, 31st nationally. Sure, that's not world-changing, but it's certainly good enough, right? And the defense? Well, it's not exactly a stone wall, but they've managed to give up just 347 total yards per game, 47th in the country. Their passing defense has been stellar, allowing just 189.4 yards per game, 30th. Of course, the defense has been giving up 23.4 points per game, but who needs perfection when you can be almost great? Now, on to the TCU Horned Frogs, because why not? They've been just fine this season, pulling off a solid 3-game winning streak against such juggernauts as Cincinnati, Arizona, and Oklahoma State. Their sophomore quarterback Josh Hoover has been outstanding. If we define outstanding as completing 66.7% of his passes for 3,697 yards and 23 touchdowns. But, oh, their running game? Yeah, it's just 114th in the nation, averaging 114.2 yards per game. But no biggie. Who needs to run the ball when your passing game is 7th in the country with 317.6 yards per game? Defensively though, TCU has been SOSO. They're allowing 357 total yards per game, 56th in the nation. But hey, their passing defense has been okay-ish, holding opponents to just 192.7 yards per game, 33rd. Of course, they're still giving up 26.4 points per game, but who's counting? Both offenses have been performing. Louisiana is putting up 28.3 points in their last 4 games, while TCU is scoring 35.2 in their last 5. But hey, let's not get too excited. Louisiana's offense is averaging 6.7 yards per play, and TCU is managing a solid 6.3. So, yeah, it's going to be a real clash of the Titans. Prediction: go ahead, take the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns to cover the spread. Plus 12? Sure, why not? Both defenses are giving up just enough points to make things interesting, and neither team seems committed to actually stopping anyone. As for the total points, let's keep it realistic. With both defenses giving up plenty of yards and points lately, the under on 58.5 seems like a safe bet. Prediction: under 58.5 points. Let's dive deeper into these game props with the kind of analysis you know you've been dying for. Ben Wooldridge total passing yards, over-under. Ben Wooldridge, the illustrious Louisiana quarterback, has been putting up decent numbers this season, completing 68.3% of his passes for 2,392 yards. However, let's not kid ourselves, he's not exactly a Heisman candidate. Still, his ability to throw, paired with his 61 rushing attempts, makes him a bit of a dual threat. Can TCU's defense, which has been more meh than menacing, prevent him from surpassing 250 yards? If they can't get pressure on him or cover those mid-range passes, Wooldridge could easily surpass this number. It's a risk either way, but if you like a little suspense, the over might be a fun gamble. Josh Hoover total passing yards, over-under. Josh Hoover, the quarterback who's been putting the TCU offense on his back, has thrown for a cool 3,697 yards this season. That's some solid yardage for a sophomore in a conference that doesn't exactly roll out red carpets for newcomers. TCU's passing game ranks 7th nationally, because apparently, that's a thing now. Louisiana's defense has allowed 189.4 passing yards per game. But who knows? With Hoover slinging the ball like it's his job, oh wait it is, he could very well eclipse 300 yards if Louisiana's secondary plays like it's taking a nap. Just don't expect him to be completely flawless. His 10 interceptions might come into play here. Ben Wooldridge total touchdowns, over-under. Wooldridge has a combined total of 22 touchdowns, 17 passing, 5 rushing, which isn't half bad for a guy who's got both the arm and the legs to make things interesting. TCU's defense has been just good enough to make life difficult, but not quite good enough to make Wooldridge's job impossible. Expect a potential ground game TD, with a few in the air as well. If TCU's defense stays true to form, giving up nearly 26 points per game, Wooldridge could very well find the end zone a couple of times. He might even surprise everyone with a rushing touchdown or two. The over might be your best bet here, but no one would blame you for a healthy dose of caution. Total team rushing yards for Louisiana, over-under. Sure, Louisiana is averaging 171.1 rushing yards per game, but let's not go overboard with excitement. TCU's defense, despite being somewhat lackluster, isn't completely inept against the run. They rank 56th in rushing defense, which means they're capable of putting up at least some resistance. However, with Ben Wooldridge back and the Ragin Cajuns' strong ground game led by running back duo Kai Robichaux and others, they might still hit the over. If TCU's defense plays soft, Louisiana could find themselves racking up yards in chunks, especially if TCU forgets to show up for the first half. Total team rushing yards for TCU, over-under. We already know TCU's ground game is a bit of a train wreck. Ranking 114th nationally isn't something you put on a team highlight reel, but hey, sometimes the Frogs just want to air it out and forget they have a running back. Still, Louisiana's defense has given up 23.4 points per game and is mediocre at best when it comes to stopping the run. Will TCU try to finally get their ground game going? Or will they simply resort to Hoover chucking passes 50 times a game? Either way, the under seems like the safer option, unless they surprise everyone and remember they can run the ball in the third quarter. Total passing touchdowns, over-under 4. If both quarterbacks stay on their game, this could be an aerial display. Louisiana has managed 17 passing touchdowns, and TCU has 23 passing touchdowns on the year. If we're looking at a shootout, the over on 4 passing touchdowns could easily hit. Both defenses have given up yards, so expect at least a couple of TDs through the air, especially if teams find themselves in a shootout, which given their recent offensive stats, seems pretty likely. You might want to lean toward the over, but no one's going to fault you if you think both teams are allergic to efficient red zone play. First team to score. It's always a toss-up as to who'll strike first in games like these. Louisiana has been decent at scoring early, just ask their Sun Belt foes. But TCU has a quick strike offense with Hoover leading the way. The real question is, who can get their act together in the first quarter? Given that both teams are looking to make a statement, expect one of them to come out swinging. If you like drama and unpredictability, this is the prop for you. Either way, you'll be on the edge of your seat wondering which offense will make the first big play. Total sacks in the game, over-under 4. Both teams love airing it out, and while Louisiana's defense hasn't exactly been world-class, they've been known to get pressure when needed. As for TCU, their defensive line has its moments, and with both quarterbacks known to drop back and sling the ball, sacks could come in bunches. If the offenses stall, don't be surprised if a few defensive linemen earn their paycheck with some quarterback takedowns. Could go over, especially with the way these teams have been playing lately. Total points in the first half, over, under 28.5. With both teams putting up decent numbers on offense recently, don't be shocked if the first half is a scoring fest. Louisiana's offense is scoring 28.3 points per game in their last 4, and TCU's is putting up 35.2 in their last 5. The big question here is how well these teams execute early in the game. If both teams are sluggish and need to warm up, the under might be the safer option. But if they come out of the gate firing, the over could easily hit. Pick your poison. Will the game go to overtime? Sure, why not? Given how closely matched these teams seem to be, both with some solid offenses and not so great defenses, It wouldn't be shocking if this game turned into a wild, back-and-forth affair that requires some extra football. Neither defense is elite enough to fully stop the offense, and if the offenses get into a rhythm late in the game, we could see a nail-biting finish. Plus, let's be honest, who doesn't love a little overtime drama? Total field goals made, over, under 3. With both teams capable of moving the ball, and both defenses giving up enough points to make you nervous, expect a few field goal attempts. If the offenses stall or settle for long-distance kicks, this prop could definitely hit the over. Louisiana and TCU's offenses have been pretty efficient, but field goals are still in play, especially if either team's red zone offense hits a few hiccups. And that's a wrap on today's video, folks. I'm sure you're absolutely on the edge of your seat, eagerly awaiting the next thrilling installment of this channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because clearly you don't want to miss any of our daily videos. I mean, who could live without them? And while you're at it, smash that notification bell, so you can be the first to know when we drop more gems like this. Oh, and if you're looking for some premium picks, because, let's be honest, who isn't? Join our Patreon. It's where the real magic happens. Premium picks, insider info, and possibly even some mildly entertaining banter. So, hit that link, and we'll see you on the inside. Until next time, enjoy the game, make those bets, and remember, you're welcome.